Good evening, welcome to the Mathematics Department's UCAS evening presentation. Tonight I would like to cover three key areas. Firstly, we'll look at the courses that the Mathematics Department offer in the senior phase with a brief overview of each. We'll then move on to some top tips to ensure that learners achieve their potential. And finally, we'll have a look at mathematics and your possible future and how mathematics can support you in different areas, including employment, college and university courses. Before we look at the specifics of any individual course, here we have the grading definitions for any course from National 5 up to Advanced Higher Maths and Mechanics. So a successful candidate will achieve an A to D pass. However, we have a little bit more detail of what the SQA feels you would require to be a C candidate and an A candidate. So a C candidate will typically have demonstrated successful performance in relation to the skills, knowledge and understanding. However, if you have a desire to be an A candidate, you have to have a consistently high level of performance in relation to the skills, knowledge and understanding for the course. This can give you a brief understanding of the difference in the kind of depth of knowledge that would be required, therefore, to achieve an A at any of our courses. Here is an overview for our National 5 course this session. So the SQA are suggesting a non-calculator paper of 40 marks and a calculator paper of 50 marks. In brackets underneath, you can see the usual marks that are allocated. So the course has been shortened slightly, and we've got a list below there of the 3 topics that have been removed to shorten the course, and therefore the exam has also been shortened slightly to allow candidates more time to work on the topics that they are going to be assessed on. For the higher course, you can see a similar pattern. Again, a big portion of the marks go down to the non-calculator paper. However, it's been slightly shortened from 60 marks to 55, and the calculator paper, again, you can see has been shortened slightly, and a couple of topics have been removed for this session. This should hopefully support candidates, regardless to whether they've been self-isolating, etc. We have a reduced coursework to cover. In terms of achieving entry to higher mathematics, the SQA leaves it down to the discretion of the centre. At Madras, we recommend that candidates should have achieved an A or a strong B qualification at National 5 Maths to achieve entry to higher. In terms of progression after higher, if you've been successful, we obviously can run the Advanced Higher Mathematics course as well as the Advanced Higher Mathematics of Mechanics course. This session, unfortunately, the mechanics course is not running, but we're hoping to get it up and running again next session. This qualification also leads on to supporting areas in further study, employment and training. In terms of the advanced higher overview, we can see here that the paper 1 remains as 35 marks and the paper 2 has been cut from 80 down to 65. And we can see a number of things that have been removed from the course for this session. This again will support our learners at home if they're self-isolating, and will give us further time for preparation for assessment, gathering, etc. Like the National 5 to higher jump, we would again recommend that if you're wanting to do advanced higher, that you come to us with an A or a strong B from higher. In terms of progression, really any mathematics related area that you would like to go into further education or employment or training would really be supported by an advanced higher. Here's the overview for the Advanced Higher Mechanics that we're not running this session, but as I've previously mentioned, would like to get up and running again for next session. Again, paper's been cut slightly shorter and a couple of topics have been removed. If you feel that you've got someone at home who would be keen to take Advanced Higher Mechanics at a later date, something to flag up to them when they're in their higher year, when they're thinking about course choicing for next session, they really need to be clear to their guidance teacher that this is a course they're interested in. because if we've got the right numbers, we will be able to run the course, and we have successfully run it in the past. Again, for this course, we would recommend an A or a strong B at higher maths, and really this course would support any further maths qualification and or study and employment or training in that area. The second area I would like to talk to you about tonight are the top tips and really some of the key things that candidates can be doing to give themselves their best chance at achieving their potential in mathematics. So first and foremost, really, it's about trying to make sure that they can attend as many, if not all, classes, and being proactive if they're unable to attend a class for any reason, that they try and catch themselves up. And there are lots of ways to do that, and we'll talk about that a wee bit more later. Candidates should be coming home, and if they have not completed everything that was given to them through that day, they should be completing it at night if possible. Really, most candidates will have something that they've not managed to get finished in class, so there's always something that they can be doing at home. They should be getting into the habit of checking their solutions and making sure that they've got all the working required. Again, there's lots of materials out there to support them with this. And one of the key things that they need to learn to do is make sure that they use their independent study time to practice as often as possible. And we've got some kind of key tips there. So make sure they refer to their notes and examples. Most class teachers will give either a notes jotter or a set of printed notes with some written examples on it. And that is a very important thing to refer to. They should be planning and being quite strict with themselves about what they're going to revise and how they're going to do it. They should be able to use the internet to support them, and again, I'll talk about that a wee bit more later. They really need to avoid just practicing the things that they can do well and that they enjoy doing as a result, probably. They really need to push themselves and practice the topics that they're finding quite challenging. And finally, they need to get a calculator off the road and make sure that they're practicing with it throughout the session so that they feel confident to use it when they go into any kind of assessment gathering. I mentioned the use of the internet, and I think we're very lucky in that there's more and more resources becoming available to people online. We have the Madras Maths website, which you can see the link for there. It has some excellent resources, including notes. There's past paper practice, and it does include breaking it down by topic. So if a candidate gets finished a topic in class, you can then go and start looking at the past papers by that topic and hopefully identify any areas they need to work on. We'll always post up revision materials for assessment preparation via the website as well, so candidates can find it easily. And then also there's links to things like the textbook solutions that I've talked about before. Candidates need to check that they're gaining all the marks by showing the adequate amount of working. And if they can look at textbook solutions that are handwritten, that will really support them in that area. Other than the Madras Maths website, which I've already mentioned, which our pupils will be very familiar with, here's another 3 or 4 that I'm going to mention that have some excellent resources. So specifically for higher, HSN website provides written notes for every topic at higher. So again, if it's something that they feel they've missed, they can go back and have a look at HSN notes and perhaps fill a gap that they may not have had in class. Then we've got the YouTube channel, DLB Maths. This is an excellent website which gives you a video explanation of any and every past paper at any level of mathematics. And we really strongly encourage pupils to look at this if they are unsure about how to tackle a question. The Higher Mathematics is a relatively new website, and there's lots of excellent resources being added to that on a daily basis. And finally, we've got Larbert Maths have produced a flipped learning page for National 5 and higher, where you can see teaching videos at basically everything covering the entire courses of National 5 and higher. So if your child has missed a particular lesson, they may well be able to go to that website and find a video that supports their learning in that area. A really important topic to mention is assessment. It's always on our minds. It's always something that we gather evidence for throughout the session. So we do it via mainly formal classroom tests, and obviously we'll have our prelim diet, hopefully. But classroom teachers are constantly gathering evidence using informal kind of low stakes assessments and homeworks in class to guide their teaching. In terms of the formal assessment in the senior phase, we aim to give 3 weeks notice as in a parent mail to all parents if a child has got an assessment coming up, and it usually contains suggested revision materials, etc. as well. We will always give feedback to candidates after assessment and help them to plan their next steps. And really, parents should be looking out for that feedback after each assessment that you've been aware of, and trying to support your child at home to make any improvements or work on any particular areas to ensure that they can do their best. Study support is something that we are really quite passionate about in the mathematics department. Hence, you can see just briefly in the little picture below that we are running study support every lunchtime and after school every day of the week. That Friday day, of course, lunchtime is the end of the day, but we still have somebody volunteering to stay for an hour or so after school. So please encourage your child to come to study support regularly. It's not something that they come to only if they're struggling. They should be coming to do the revision and get the help regularly to ensure that they can be as successful as possible. Posters are found just like this around the department if they ever need a reminder of where the study support is running day to day. In terms of top tips, homework is something that candidates should really be completing regularly. They will be getting regular homework from their classroom teachers, and if they've not got a specific exercise to complete, they can be finishing off work that they've been doing through the course of their class that day. At present, we're kind of doing a kind of mixed combination of how we're giving out formal homework. Most teachers are using paper copies again. However, a lot of them are posting an electronic copy on Teams as well. Some teachers are taking it in via Teams and some are just taking it in on paper. But again, if we were needing to work electronically, the Maths department is very much prepared for that. It's so important that homework is completed. It allows teachers to provide regular feedback and also allows teachers to see where there are gaps, if any, across a class, and to try and help plug them with things like the use of starters, etc. It generally supports our tracking and monitoring, gives a lot of information, and helps with the aid of the staff. Pupils can then plan their next steps. My final kind of top tip that I want to talk to you about is the use of past papers. Can't emphasise enough the importance of past papers really in studying of mathematics at all levels, from National 5 all the way up to Advanced Higher. So as soon as a pupil's completing a topic, they can go away and start to attempt past papers. They can use the website, the Madras Maths website, as a support there to find them easily. We have worked solutions on the website. We have the SQE marking scheme, so they can see how the marks are being allocated as well. And as well as that, they can look at the DLB maths resource that I've already mentioned if they would prefer to watch a video solution. Really remember that it is very much the most important thing in preparation for assessments of any description. And I can't recommend enough that candidates spend as much time as possible looking at practice papers and past papers that are on our website. Finally, I would like to mention our third kind of area, which is maths in your future. Why is it important to study maths and where can it get you? And I think most universities, colleges and employers will acknowledge that really a strong maths qualification is a very good one, and they look out for it. It indicates a candidate who's robust and has strong problem solving skills. And some of the areas here that you might be interested in, and it is a widespread thing, maths, so you can use it in lots of different sectors. Obviously, I've mentioned the financial sector, and I've listed a few things here, including banking, actuarial maths if you're interested in it, and accountancy, but really all areas of the financial sector are going to be looking for a really strong maths qualification. If you're interested in further study of any science-based course, they're going to be keen to see a good maths qualification. There are, of course, if you want to go on to specifically study maths or statistics or engineering, it's going to be really very much of help to you. But of course, we've got areas like medicine and veterinary studies. We quite like to see an advanced higher maths. Again, for the reasons mentioned above, it demonstrates excellent problem solving skills as well as study skills. If you're interested in going into anywhere in the computing field, including things like games design, software engineering and cybersecurity, these qualifications, these university courses, these college courses really like to see a good maths qualification from their candidates. However, maths really is something that you can use to pursue lots of different areas, including working in civil service, education, and things like retail and hospitality. Finally, I'd just like to flag up, and certainly in recent years, the Scottish Government have been really clear that they feel that a good maths qualification will support any candidate to work in the renewable sector, which is clearly a growing place in the economy. So if that's a field that you're interested in working in, make sure that you have the best maths qualification that you can achieve. I'd like to thank you all for listening tonight. I'll now pass it over to you guys. If you've got any questions, go ahead. You can either type them in the chat box, or if anyone's brave enough to speak, on you go. Myself and Mr. Young are available here just now for questions. If in the future you've got any further questions, please just contact me on that email address and I'll get Mr. Darge to post out this presentation later on. Thanks. Any questions?